Hello and welcome. I am Emily Wishall. I am an embodiment coach, a certified Rolfer, and an author of the recently published book, Radical Embodiment, a practical guide to celebrating the skin you're in. And I'm bringing back my Body Love blog. So I'm back. And today sharing on how to massage your own heart, but through the breath. So when we breathe, let me pause, actually break up just for a minute. Our fascially speaking, so when we're thinking of our fascia, which I think of as like our soft tissue skeleton, fascially, our respiratory diaphragm is connected into our heart. So when we breathe in a full belly, full expansive ribcage breath, as the diaphragm moves with the breath, it's actually also kind of pulling and tugging on the heart through the fascial connections. So many of us, want to live a life where we are open-hearted, where love is our motivating factor. Yet, our heart can be really protected. It can, understandably so, right? Like life can be hard, what we see out in the world around us. And so we want to contract, or our heart wants to kind of protect itself. And none of that is wrong. None of it needs to be fixed. It's a natural response that's keeping us safe. But at the same time, we can get a lot of benefit as well as self-regulation to allow us to stay a little bit more open-hearted, to allow our nervous system to feel a little bit more safe, to stay open in a more receptive, energetic manner, when we can really bring our consciousness to our breath. And so what do I invite you to try this week is when you breathe, ideally your rib cage moves kind of like an accordion. So if you can think of my hands as your rib cage, so the front of your rib cage, expands up and out. The sides of your rib cage expand up and out. The back of your rib cage expands out. We tend to be a really forward-driven, forward-focused society, and so our breath can even be really limited to only in the front. So first, I want to invite you to allow more of that 3D full-dimensional breath through your rib cage. From there, I also want to invite you to bring your breath into your belly. If you've read my book, there's a whole chapter around the limiting belief of I am too fat. And for me, that led me to years of unconsciously sucking in my stomach. One of the detriments of sucking in your stomach is you're not able to get a full breath. Your diaphragm actually, when you're sucking in your stomach, is not giving that massage to your heart, which I'm inviting you to try out this week in this blog. So you're doing that 3D accordion ribcage breath, as well as when you inhale, allowing your belly to inflate out. And at the same time, also seeing if you can get some expansionness through your back. So you're inviting your breath more into your back as well. And what I find when we do that, when we bring more awareness into our back through our breath, through energy practices, we can actually, it allows us to rest and yield upon the inherent support behind us. Part of that inherent support being our spine. Yes, it's not just behind us, but if we're just here, it's like we're almost like pulling away from that support. We're leaning away from that support. So I'm giving you lots of little tidbits here. So you're going to do your accordion breath through the rib cage. You're going to invite your breath into your belly. You're going to bring your breath into your back. And then what you will be experiencing as you're doing that is some really full, deep breaths. You can inhale, exhale through your nose, through your mouth, whatever is your preference. Personally, in this particular, actually I do both. One of the breathwork practices I do is so it's like a strong inhale and then just a natural exhale through the mouth. So sometimes when I'm purposely wanting to bring more intention into massaging my heart, I'll do that breath. I also often, a very simple breath to do is I'll inhale through my nose and exhale through my mouth. So try either of those. Try on what feels good to you, but what is maybe a little different than just your normal everyday breath. And as you are doing those breaths with those 3 specific cues that I asked you to pay attention to, I want you to actually think of, if you can visualize the connection, great. Visualize that connection of your heart literally being connected through the fascia into your diaphragm. And utilize that information, that visualization, to enhance the amount of sensation you can actually feel here. Meaning we're bringing more awareness, more attention to here. So literally see, can you feel your heart being massaged in that way? And can it feel good? And in this practice, we're not trying to change anything. We're not judging any sensations that might be present in the heart. We're just giving the heart some loving contact and support through the breath. And so like an example I'll give of myself, last night I was doing this practice and I could feel kind of in my lower heart, kind of right at my costal arch, but it was more in my inferior lower heart, this sensation of protection, of holding. There was a little bit more density present in the quality of my tissue there. And, I'm pretty sure I know the story or what that is from, what that's as far as in my own personal life, what it's protecting me from. And it felt so good to not be in a place where I was doing a practice to try to change it or judge it or fix it or any of that. Instead, it was just like, oh, wow, it feels so good to be so present with this protection, with this density that's so smart, that's serving me so well, and to touch upon that with my breath. So I hope you enjoy this practice. It's simple. You could spend longer if it is your morning or evening practice and you're sitting down, have a longer period of time. Beautiful. It can also be a really easy thing to implement through your day. So say you're sitting at a red light. What a beautiful opportunity to take 2 to 3 deep breaths where you're giving your heart some contact through your breath, where that is the specific intention, is to literally massage the heart from below. And I'm a fan, I think if you know me, you hopefully know this about me, of not creating more to-dos in our life. I think most of our lives and schedules tend to be really full and packed, or we can feel overwhelmed with the amount of stuff to do, and so we don't do anything. And I'm a huge proponent of how can we weave in these new ways of being, these practices, these ideas into things we're already doing. And so if you're driving, you're at a red light. If you take mass, transportation, when you're waiting for the bus, when you're waiting for the train, you could do this, or other practices. So finding those little opportunities in your day that are already there when you're doing the dishes, so it's not just another to-do, and instead you're innovating these new ways of being with your regular ways of being. So thank you for tuning in to my Body Love blog, and I look forward to hearing how this practice goes for you.